Good morning and welcome to Farm Factor. I'm your host, Jamie Bloom. Today, Kyle Bauer is with EPA Region 7 Administrator Jim Gilliford. Then enjoy this week's Kansas Soybean Update. Next, Duane Toews interviews Elmer Ronnebaum with the Kansas Rural Water Association about the importance of proper infrastructure in rural communities. Then it's this week's Kansas Farm Bureau Update, and we'll end with Plain Talk with Kyle and Duane. Stay with us.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com. This segment brought to you by Kansas Grain Sorghum. Growers working together. Find out more at kansasgrainsorghum.org.
Welcome to Farm Factor. Up first, Kyle Bauer visits EPA Region 7 Administrator Jim Gilliford.
Hi, this is Kyle Bauer visiting with the EPA Region 7 Administrator, Jim Gilliford. Jim, when we talk about agriculture and we talk about EPA, a lot of farmers will have the perception that it's a relationship that isn't positive for the farmer, but that isn't necessarily true.
No, that's not. There are a lot of programs that we do. First of all, we work with our state agencies so that most of the farmers will never even meet or see an EPA person. However, we do work to implement our Clean Water Act, our Safe Drinking Water Act, programs that do have an influence on some of the requirements that farmers have to meet. Throw a couple of those out. Obviously, we register and license all pesticides. So that's a program that really supports the agricultural needs to make sure that crop protection products are available for farmers, and secondly, that they're safe for their use and that they achieve their intended objective. So that's an area where, again, we're providing a service that's essential to agriculture.
Most recently, there was a great deal of contention between agriculture and EPA on waters of the U.S. With the change of administration, there is some changes in the winds on that. Sure.
Administrator Scott Pruitt, one of the first actions that he took when he was appointed and confirmed by the Senate was to pull back that rule and reanalyze it. They proposed to going back to the relationship that existed prior to that rule. We've received public comment on that, and in the future we'll have a final rule that, again, I believe will take us right back to our original relationship with ag and with the farmers and ranchers.
I'm going to talk about you just a bit. The Region 7 Administrator, it's an important role. You have a great deal of background in this area.
Yes, I actually worked for 20 years directing soil and water conservation programs for the state of Iowa. Again, providing service and providing financial assistance to farmers as they work to control erosion from their properties, but also address the challenges of water quality protection. It's a great model, and it's one that we believe works for the Environmental Protection Agency as well. And we provide funds to our state agency partners to do exactly that kind of work.
But you've worked with EPA in the past and currently.
Sure. I was regional administrator 16 years ago in the George W. Bush administration. So I have some experience working on all the programs of the Environmental Protection Agency in the four-state area: Kansas, Missouri, Nebraska, Iowa.
And truly, EPA is set up to be a bit regional. The needs of this area is different than, let's say, the East or West Coast.
Absolutely. Agriculture is such an important economic driver in our four-state region that we want to be and pay attention to the needs that are there, and we want to facilitate. Our job really is to make sure that the agriculture as a business, agriculture as an economy is supported by our programs, again, to make sure that there isn't a danger to human health or the environment. So it's working with the ag community to achieve those things.
We're visiting with Jim Gilliford. He's the EPA Administrator for Region 7. This is Kyle Bauer reporting. Back to you, Jamie.
Thanks, Kyle. Folks, come back after these messages for this week's Kansas Soybean Update.
KFRM is one of the largest farm radio stations in the nation, dedicated to informing and entertaining rural listeners from northern Oklahoma to southwestern Nebraska. You can catch KFRM in many ways. Of course, 550 on the AM dial, streaming at kfrm.com, or on your smartphone by going to the TuneIn Radio app, or on Ag AM in Kansas on Tuesdays and Facebook every day of the week. KFRM, tune us in. You'll be glad you did.
Ag Promo Source is a unique group of marketing specialists with one mission: help your ag business grow. Each affiliate has their own area of expertise, and they work together to bring you advice, products, and services. To get started, visit agpromosource.com. Ag Promo Source. Together we grow.
Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
ValleyVet.com, ValleyVet.com, Valley Vet Supply.
This segment is brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff. Progress powered by Kansas farmers.
Welcome back to Farm Factor and the Kansas Soybean Update.
This is the Kansas Soybean Update. It's brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers. Doug Bounds, Kansas State Statistician for USDA's National Ag Statistics Service, joins us. And Doug, producers will soon be seeing in their mail the 2017 Census of Agriculture. Why is this so important for producers to fill out?
Well, Greg, the Census of Agriculture is important because it is a complete count of all U.S. farms and ranches and the people that operate them. It's only taken once every 5 years, and it looks at things like land use and ownership, operator demographics, production practices, income, and expenses.
And in many cases gives that farmers a voice as far as the information that they need to fill out on this form, too.
That's correct. The Census of Agriculture provides the only source of uniform, comprehensive, and impartial ag data for every county in the nation.
Now, this is not only done via the mail, if they want to do it that way, but they can also fill this out on a secure website?
That is correct. We have an improved online questionnaire this time around that makes responding much easier than ever before. And as always, responses will be secure and confidential as required by federal law.
And what's that website they can go to?
www.agcensus.usda.gov.
And Doug, with the 2017 Census of Agriculture, this has future effects too, and that includes the upcoming debate on the Farm Bill.
That is correct. Results from the census will be looked at by those in positions to make decisions, including the Farm Bill and other decisions that may be made at not just the federal, but state and county level.
As you mentioned earlier, this can be done via the mail or via a secure website. What is the deadline they need to get that back in?
We ask producers to have their forms returned to us by February 5th.
So if they want more information, they can go to the website or they can call the state statistician's office, or can they contact someone in the county?
They can contact me directly at 785-260-1508, or they can call the Agricultural Statistics Hotline at 1-800-727-9540.
And they should be seeing that very soon in their mailbox, the 2017 Census of Agriculture, or, as Doug mentioned, on the secure website as well. Doug, we appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Greg.
That is Doug Bounds, Kansas State Statistician for USDA's National Ag Statistics Service, who joins us on the Kansas Soybean Update. It's brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers. Learn more at kansassoybeans.org. For Kansas Soybeans, I'm Greg Akagi.
Hope you enjoyed this week's Kansas Soybean Update. Stay with us after the break for more with Duane Toews and Elmer Ronnebaum with Kansas Rural Water Association.
What if U.S. soybean meal were more than a commodity? If seed companies and the soybean checkoff built a better variety? That future is here. The time is now. To meet end-user demands, the soybean checkoff is investing in the compositional quality of soybeans, including meal. A message from the Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers.
All over the country, more and more communities are making the change to biodiesel made from U.S. soybean oil. And the decision continues, improving the health and welfare for millions of Americans while adding billions to our national economy.
What does a brighter, more sustainable future look like in our cities and towns, and how do we get there? When New York needed an alternative fuel source to reduce carbon emissions, the city found what it needed in biodiesel made from U.S. soybean oil.
I'm Sarah, and this is my husband, Travis. We both grew up working on family ranches, me in Northern California and Travis in Kansas. We met in college, got married, and took corporate jobs in the beef industry. But soon we realized we missed the production side of the industry. So we made the daring move to start our own cattle business in southeast Kansas, while also starting our family. Watch our story and the stories of other young Kansas food producers at kansaslivingmagazine.com/meetafarmer.
This segment brought to you by Sure Crop, liquid crop nutrition delivered right to your farm.
We're back. Now we talk rural water infrastructure with Duane Toews and Elmer Ronnebaum with Kansas Rural Water Association.
Duane Toews joining you once again here on Ag AM in Kansas, and a chance to catch up with Elmer Ronnebaum with the Kansas Rural Water Association. Elmer, tell us a little bit about the organization and what you do for folks across the state of Kansas.
Kansas Rural Water Association provides training and technical assistance for cities and rural water systems. We work with municipal water and wastewater utilities, providing many training sessions annually across the state, about 100 days of training, which is attended by roughly 6,000 operators of water and wastewater utilities.
I want to talk a little bit about an opportunity that you had recently to testify in Washington, D.C. about how critical it is for support, particularly for our rural communities in Kansas, to have access to the funds that help us keep our wastewater and water systems going.
Yes, I was asked by Senator Roberts, invited to the Senate Ag Committee to comment on the Farm Bill. One of the components of the Farm Bill is a loan and grant program, which has been managed by the USDA, Rural Development Agency, for more than 40 years. It's the program that actually built most of the rural water systems in the state. I went there because of the president's budget had proposed total elimination of that. That program provided funding for many communities in Kansas in the past year. Presently, the agency has 49 applications on file. The benefit of that program is that it allows a 40-year amortization, and without that longer period of amortization, many of the communities that are obtaining financing for water and or wastewater improvements would not be able to afford the rates if you compress that down to a 20-year amortization.
We think about why that's important. It's real dollars when it comes to the folks when they look at their water and wastewater bill that they get from the city.
At Strong City recently was part of a new public wholesale water system. Strong City made some improvements also. Had Strong City not received the grant benefits, and had they had to go to a 20-year amortization, the water rates in Strong City would have had to quadruple to nearly $25 per 1,000 gallons. It would have made 5,000 gallons of water cost $157, and that's simply not affordable.
We think about what your organization does, a lot of trainings and work with our particularly rural communities across the state of Kansas, and situations where they don't always have the most up-to-date equipment and such. You're there to help them out in that regard as well.
We have operators who have been with systems who are staff members. We have 18 staff members. They've dealt with all the sorts of regulatory issues and compliance with the regulations, but more so the hands-on stuff when it comes to a breakdown of a pump or a motor. We do excessive amount of water loss and leak detection for rural water systems and small communities. Many of the small communities have even part-time help, or they have one or two operators, and so they are not going to be able to maintain an inventory of all the parts. They'll give us a call, we send somebody out there immediately, and we will either find the help that they need, provide the help that they need, and if not, we'll go to a neighboring community, or we have parts and pieces in our repair trucks to help them get back into operation.
Our thanks to Elmer Ronnebaum with the Kansas Rural Water Association joining us here on Ag AM in Kansas. Jamie, we'll send it back to you.
Thanks, Duane. Come back after the break for this week's Kansas Farm Bureau update.
Soil is the life of a farm, and for 25 years, SureCrop Liquid Crop Nutrition has helped growers produce abundant quality crops while preserving and improving the soils they steward. SureCrop offers complete soil and plant analysis with cropping recommendations, delivery direct to your on-farm storage, and quality crop nutrition custom blended for your field. Choose SureCrop for the assurance of excellence for your soil. Call today or visit their website for more information.
Next time you see a beautiful field of corn, reach out and thank the farmers who work tirelessly to raise corn for livestock feed, renewable fuels, and exports to feed a growing world population. The farmers on the Kansas Corn Commission work for Kansas Corn with grower-funded checkoff dollars that support foreign and domestic market development, research, promotion, and education to expand opportunities for Kansas farmers. To learn more, visit kscorn.com.
Tarwater Farm and Home has been family owned and operated since its beginning in 1978. What you need for farm and agriculture, lawn and garden, clothing and footwear, and so much more. You'll be surprised at what you'll find in this huge store. They have what you need and lots of it. So come take a look. You'll discover that customer service is first and foremost. Always has been with the Tarwaters. Tarwater Farm and Home, 4107 North Topeka Boulevard.
Hi, I'm Tim. This is my wife, Kat, my parents, Jerry and Linda, and my kids, Isaac and Lizzie. My parents traded their first careers to take over my mom's family farm shortly before I was born. When I graduated high school, my parents made me leave to see the world. I started on the corporate track, but soon wondered what farm life might really be like. Watch our story and the stories of other young Kansas food producers at kansaslivingmagazine.com/meetafarmer.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture. To join today or more information, go to kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back to Farm Factor and this week's Kansas Farm Bureau update.
Comprehensive tax reform supported by the American Farm Bureau Federation could soon cross the finish line. The House and Senate have both passed their own versions of tax reform bills. According to AFBF Senior Congressional Relations Director Pat Wolf, the biggest difference for agriculture is how pass-through business income will be treated. Income reported by farmers and ranchers who file under sole proprietorships, partnerships, and S corporations.
The Senate bill provides a big deduction for business profits. The House takes a completely different version and only provides a lower rate for a third of farm and ranch profits. How they work that out matters a lot to the taxes that farmers and ranchers will pay.
Both bills continue provisions important to agriculture like business interest deduction and like-kind exchanges. Farmers can also expect relief from the burden of estate tax.
Both bills double the estate tax exemption, so that's good news for most farmers and ranchers. Most farmers and ranchers will be under that exemption level of $11 million a person. The House bill does repeal estate taxes, but unfortunately that doesn't look like it will make it into the final bill.
The House and Senate are expected to work quickly to finish the bill and be ready for a final vote within the next few weeks.
The next step is for a conference committee to be formed to work out the differences between the House and Senate bill. That conference committee will be made up of members of the House and Senate who helped write their respective bills. And because so many things are the same, there is an expectation that they'll finish up in the next week or so, which would get the bill to the floor for final passage before Christmas.
Michael Clements, Washington.
Stay with us. We'll be back after the break with Plain Talk.
The Kansas Wheat Innovation Center in Manhattan is rediscovering ways to get improved varieties and new genetics in the hands of farmers faster. Grower-led and checkoff-funded research initiatives are bringing about positive change. This grassroots leadership provides a strong voice in Topeka and Washington, D.C. Now is the time to partner with Kansas Wheat in moving wheat forward. Kansas Wheat Commission and Kansas Association of Wheat Growers. Farmers investing in their future and yours. Log on to rediscoverwheat.org.
Grain sorghum is one of the most important cereal crops worldwide, and Kansas leads the nation in its production. Over the years, sorghum has been either exported, used in animal feed domestically, or for other industrial uses. Recently, its use in the ethanol market has seen tremendous growth, with 30% of domestic sorghum typically going to ethanol production. Kansas Grain Sorghum is committed to sorghum research, market development, and education. Learn more at ksgrainsorghum.org.
No matter where, no matter why, the Veterinary Health Center at Kansas State University is committed to providing quality patient care to animals and exceptional customer service to their owners. From routine checkups to emergency and specialty care, our world-renowned specialists and experienced professionals are here to discover, to teach, and to heal.
Let us know.
How can I help? How can we help?
Person who's involved in ag production, cattle ranching, Bill Rischel here in North Platte, told me about Kansas Regenerative Medicine. And after talking to Dr. Pope, we did a lot of reading and researching, looking on the internet about it. I guess the thing that impressed me is that he told me, he said, if we don't think it's going to help you, we're not going to do it. And I thought that was a very good approach. I'm a former athlete, played college basketball, played overseas after college, had some severe trauma on the right ankle, right knee, joint in my hand also. This brace is what I had to wear all the time. Now I don't wear this during the day. That's a real improvement for me. My knee doesn't bother me. This joint came around quick. It was the first thing I noticed improving. You can see in the background here there's different fish and game that I hunt. Ability to walk was impacting my outdoor endeavors. I think it's really valuable, and encourage anybody that's interested to go down and at least do a consultation with them.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Corn. Learn more at kscorn.com.
Welcome back. Now let's see what Kyle and Duane are up to on Plain Talk.
Hi, this is Kyle Bauer with Plain Talk with the squeaky chair Duane Toews.
Your fact or fiction question of the day, Kyle Bauer. When a baby is born, they have 300 bones in their body. And by the time a human passes at age, I mean a normal adult, only 254. Fact or fiction?
Now, 300 seems like a round number. And God has a round number. Yeah, it's God has a plan, but I don't think he'd even it off at exactly 300. I'm going with fiction.
It is fiction, but for a different reason. A baby is born with 300 bones, and an adult only has 206.
That many of them fuse.
94 of them fuse.
Fuse together. Yeah. Huh.
And I don't know if the skull, that whole deal.
Oh, yeah, you have a lot of different bones in the skull.
there, and that fills in and hardens.
You ever had your head adjusted? You go to a chiropractor from time to time.
Why are you looking at me like that? No, I really haven't.
There was a time I had a bone out above my ear, out of kilter.
Really?
And he put it back in. Just took this little hammer and whack. No.
It was a soft hammer.
It was quite a few years ago, but there was a bone.
How did you know that it was out?
I didn't know it was out. It hurt.
Okay, so you did have pain.
Yeah, it hurt. And he goes, well, you got your Okefenokee bone out. And it's like, well, I didn't even know I had an Okefenokee bone.
Both of my daughters have their jaw adjusted frequently, which seems odd to me, but evidently it's not because he doesn't look at them like they're weird when he does it.
Yeah, that's as odd as we think we are when we go to a specialist. They're kind of like
seen this all the time.
A friend of mine had been told that they had glaucoma from their local doctor, and so they went to a specialist, and they were pretty freaked out about it.
I suspect.
And went down to the specialist, and I think actually my friend had already even picked out a cane. I think was just sure that they were
he was going to need that white.
Going to go blind and
looking for
and
a
he
dog.
was like, "Well, doc,
how bad is it?
Well, what?" It's like, "Do I have glaucoma?" He says, "Well, yeah, you got glaucoma. That's why you're here. I'm a glaucoma specialist." Well, how long have I got? And it's like, "What do you mean?" He said, "You take this medicine, and it's like you'll have glaucoma all your life, but it's like you don't need that white cane anymore."
Really?
Thanks for joining us. I'm your host, Jamie Bloom, and I hope you enjoyed today's show. See you next week on Farm Factor.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com.